It's about that time, 3:59 to be exact, I believe. I'd like to welcome you and thank you all for being here. My name is Kelly Ryan, and I'm here on behalf of the Chamber. I'm the chairman of the board this year, and I'm honored to be your master of ceremonies as well this afternoon. I'd like to take a moment to introduce some very special guests that we have here with us today. Please stand as I call your name, but if the rest of you could just hold your applause for a moment, that'd be great. We should have Meridian City Council President Charlie Roundtree, Meridian City Councilman Vice President Keith Bird, Councilman Joe Borton, Councilman Luke Kavanagh, Meridian City Councilwoman Genesis Milam, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Councilman David Zaremba. We'd also like to take a moment to recognize the city's department directors. If you guys could please stand and be applauded for all of your hard work as well. We are also very appreciative for the attendance of several other current and former elected officials, the Chamber Board, along with mayors, city council members, and law enforcement leaders from neighboring cities. Would all of you please rise so we might acknowledge you at this time? Several members of our mayor's family are here as well. Can you guys stand up and be recognized? Wonderful. There's a few shorter ones up front here, but they were standing. Next, we'd like to thank the Village at Meridian for being our title sponsor for today's event. Hugh Crawford is an integral part of this project, and as general manager, I'd have to say he's done a pretty darn fantastic job. I think you'd all agree. I've heard mentioned that he has felt very welcomed into our community. Please join me in continuing this warm welcome while he comes up to say a few words.
Good afternoon. I'm Hugh Crawford. I'm the general manager for the Village at Meridian, and we are incredibly proud to sponsor today's event. On behalf of the Village of Meridian, we are also incredibly proud to support Mayor Tammy. She's an incredible driver in this community, been integral in the success of the Village at Meridian. We love working with her day to day. Most importantly, though, what we're proud of is being a part of this community. Meridian is everything that we have dreamed of for helping us in the success of the Village at Meridian. We want to thank you for letting us be a part of today and being a part of this community. So thank you very much.
There's some other things that need to be stated. There's many additional sponsors that have contributed to today's success. Among them are Micron, Blue Cross of Idaho, St. Alphonsus, Idaho Power, Republic Services, United Heritage Insurance, St. Luke's, Micro 100 Tool, D.L. Evans Bank, and Brighton Corporation, along with many others as you'll see on the screen at this time. We'd like to really extend our true thanks and appreciation because it's due to these sponsors that today's event is truly a success. So thank you. Now we're moving on. We're going to have the posting of the colors by the Meridian Police Color Guard, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Jan DeVeerd. Jan recently made an allegiance to this country as he became an American citizen, and that's a pretty cool thing, and we are really proud to have him. Congratulations, Jan. He will be followed by the singing of our national anthem by voiceover of Cantus Youth Choirs. Thank you, guys, and I will now turn it over to the presentation of the colors.
present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the hope of
Port arms. Post.
That was pretty fabulous. Well, you're all still standing. I knew that was going to happen. I was prepared for that. I'd like to now introduce Pastor Mark Thornton of Capital Christian Center for the invocation.
Let us pray. Hallelujah. Father God, we thank you for this day, a day in which you have made and a day in which we purpose to rejoice and be glad in. We're grateful for the opportunity that you've afforded us today to come together in unity as a community, as a city, Lord, a city and a community made up of wonderful individuals and wonderful families, wonderful businessmen and businesswomen and city leaders and officials, Lord. We look at all of the things that you've done in and through our city and the people that are here, and we call ourselves blessed. We consider all of the things that you're currently doing in businesses and the lives of men and women and children, and we call ourselves blessed blessed. We consider all of the things that you purpose to do in and through the people of this city, and we call ourselves blessed. And so we thank you that where there is unity, you command a blessing. And it is our purpose to come together from different places we originated, different cities and different states, even different countries. But we find ourselves in this city for such a time as this. And so we pray, Lord, today that you would just give wisdom and give discernment, that you would give understanding, and that we would catch the vision, and that we would all come together to just see your will done, and that we would consider and still call ourselves blessed. And so we thank you. We bless you. We bless our mayor, a wonderful mayor, and we just thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated.
Our theme today is Building Meridian Together. I can think of no one better to hear from on this topic than Mayor Tammy DeVeard. She is a fourth-generation Idahoan and has been our mayor since 2004. Mayor Tammy has lived in Meridian and has been an active volunteer in our community for more than 2 decades. I know this because when I first moved here and joined Meridian Kiwanis, she was helping me on the first fundraiser that we did, so it's been quite a long time. She serves on a number of state and regional boards and commissions, such as Boys and Girls Club of Ada County, Idaho Meth Project, and is currently the president of the Association of Idaho Cities. She works alongside the leaders of our business, education, youth, and faith communities as well. Mayor Tammy's leadership efforts have repeatedly achieved national recognition from publications as well as America's Promise. She herself has also been the recipient of many prestigious accolades, most recently as an elected Woman of Excellence by the National Foundation for Women Legislators. In addition to that, she has been the Meridian Chamber's Woman of the Year, NAWBO's Businesswoman of the Year for Leadership, and was also the recipient of the Idaho Governor's Brightest Star Award. Mayor Tammy is married to her best friend and loves spending time with her 4 children, their spouses, and these sweet little grandkids down here. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Tammy and the moment you've all been waiting for.
Thank you. Kelly was a little shorter than I am. Thank you all for being here and braving the elements. I can tell you that 2013 brought a number of expansions. An expanded city council, expanded Meridian Road, expanded shopping opportunities, and expanded jobs. Through each of these expansions, there weaves a common thread. Public participation, collaboration, partnerships, and joint investment. When we listen, plan, communicate, and work together, we can expect great outcomes. The Village at Meridian is a perfect and breathtaking example. This project took a shared vision, years of planning, intense cooperation, and hard work in creating a magical place we call our village. The theme, Building Meridian, seems so appropriate this year, as in past years as well. We have been building our great community together. Can I ask the house lights to raise? At this point, again, I know we had introductions, but I'd like our city council, our directors, our employees, and our city volunteers to please stand. Now, stay standing. Now I would like our sponsors to please join them. And now our regional partners, our cities, counties, state, and quasi-government. Now our businesses, our citizens and faith leaders, our youth and our educators. And if you are still standing, please, or still sitting, please stand up. It takes all of us to build this community together. You may be seated. Over the past 2 years, I've been focusing on specific community priorities during the State of the City addresses. I've reported on our progress as well as some of our challenges. These areas were identified through listening to the feedback from our citizens. This data was collected through city surveys, through our town hall meetings and coffee with the mayor. It's also been through knocking on your doors. These priorities haven't changed, as their importance were recently reinforced during listening tours held in 7 different areas of our community with a diverse group of stakeholders. These priority areas are safe community, responsive government, places to go, jobs, and transportation. Not necessarily in those orders, but we rely on working with our community partners to achieve results. We build Meridian together. These priority areas are important to our community and important to moving forward towards a common vision. Number 1, safe places. Meridian was named the safest city in Idaho by CQ Press. Exceptional quality of life and low crime don't just happen. We all work together across departmental lines to ensure quality and responsive services. We will not rest on our backside because of this designation, because we know that there is more to do. Now, last year I committed to coming back and talking about our response times to identify those key influencers that affect them. And here's what we found.
911 emergency. Okay, what's the address of the emergency? Okay, tell me exactly what's going on. Okay, we are getting the fire department on the way. Stay on the phone with me for just a moment, okay? All units responding to the structure fire at 33 East Broadway, cross street of Meridian and Main. This is reports of a 2-story building with smoke and flames showing. Everybody is out of the building at this time. No other structures are threatened.
So fire department response really has 2 components to it. First, there's the things that we can control. When the bells go off, in 60 seconds, we expect to be out the door in a safe manner, putting our turnouts on, mapping ourselves to the call. We can control all of that. But when we leave the station, there's some things we can't control. Weather, road conditions, traffic, road closures, all of those factors that really play into a response and how quickly we can get there. We want to get there safely, effectively, and timely, but sometimes those challenges really do get in our way.
Even just a year ago, it was hard for us to track what our response times were. Now we have good data, and we know the things that impact our responses. This information is crucial as we plan for the future, so we know where to locate resources like fire stations and fire engines, so we can maintain that level of service that the community expects.
So now you've seen some of our challenges and some of the data processes that we've done so far to identify our challenges and find solutions too. Our next step is getting you, the community, involved. We're going to get together stakeholders, community members, business owners, elected officials, to determine what the future response time expectation is so we can continue to meet Meridian's needs.
So those are some of the things that we found. Now we need to have those community conversations. Last year in our fire department, we were stable. We actually improved by 5 seconds. But in our police department, we found that we're now over 4 seconds on priority 3 calls, And those are the lights and siren calls that are very important. And we know that those 4 minutes can sometimes be the longest in your life. So we're using new tools. We're using data analysis to look at things. We're huddling with our partners, and we're trying to figure out how we can stabilize those response times. But as the chief has said, we can be responsible for, once we get out the door, now we enter some unpredictable situations that can affect our response times. That community conversation needs to happen with our stakeholders because we want to know what your expectations are of us on the response times. And we need to share with you what that will cost. That's going to be very important. This next area also takes some of these same tools that we used in technology, and it's called DDAX. You know, I don't know why they use acronyms like that, but it's almost easier to say than data-driven approaches to crime and traffic statistics or safety. We have dedicated patrols. We've worked educating our stakeholders, and we're out there in enforcement to reduce crime and crashes. We've used automated crime mapping like this. As you can see along the Eagle Road corridor, you see a number of circles. Those circles indicate where our crimes and our crashes are happening. This is where we have assembled a team that is focused on that. And because of that focus and the strategic approach that we initiated along this first zone, we have seen a reduction of our numbers. We've seen a reduction in the numbers of serious crashes, down by 32%. We've seen a decrease in DUIs, drug offenses, shoplifting, and vandalism. Overall, we've seen a reduction in crimes in this DDAC zone by almost 16%. I think that's pretty darn good. And you can clap on that one. This next area is safety on the road and in our community. And this really revolves and focuses on our youth. The first thing that we're really proud of is Alive at 25. This is about defensive driving training, and it trains drivers between 15 and 24, and we have served or educated over 1,200 participants, which is 1/3 of the total trained in the state of Idaho. That's how passionate and aggressive our officers are on getting people involved. And they have shown that when you take this class, the percentage of participants that take this, it reduces their incidence of being involved in serious accidents. The second is what our youth council is focused on. Did you know that seat belts certainly are illegal, but did you know that it's not a primary offense? So our police cannot pull you over from that. So right now, our youth council are very convicted in saying they should be a primary offense. And so they're working with the legislature right now to make it a primary offense for 18 and younger, because they believe that's where habits are formed. We had 2 youth council members that recently were involved in the big pileup on I-84. Brooklyn and Prince, they were wearing their seatbelts. And you know, some of the conversations of our youth, what they have said is when you use your choice of not wearing your seatbelt, it should not impact them and where their taxpayer dollars go to pay those medical bills the rest of their lives. So I join them in hoping that our legislature will allow the introduction of this law, that this legislation gets a hearing, so these youth voices can be heard. Number 2, responsive government. Our goal is to be responsive to the citizens and customers we serve by finding efficiencies that save time and resources and continue to improve our levels of service. As in other priority areas, what we have seen over this last year is improved communication with our customers, cost savings, and leverage resources by working with others. This service-minded community has an example of leveraging resources. Our citizens are eager to step forward when asked. In fact, I think our rock stars are here today. They serve at our front desk and welcome you as you walk into City Hall. They're an example of the citizens that we have that volunteer over 30,000 hours in our city. 7,000 of those hours were by our youth council members. Also in responsive government, I'd like to talk about water. Water conservation when there's not enough, and water when there's too much. We had a short irrigation season last year and an early shutoff that happened, and we felt that it would have a real severe effect on our citizens and our ability to deliver service to them. So we did a water curtailment plan and a communication plan. We sent out letters. We shared with our citizens what they could do to conserve, to avoid peak demand hours, and other such information. And we avoided a real crisis. Now, I think that we see another one possibly happening this year. Well, we'll be prepared. What we weren't quite expecting is what we saw in September. To go to our wastewater treatment plant, that we had to figure out how to deal with it in that rapid response. We also have a discharge limit that has been placed on us through the EPA and DEQ through our NPDES permit. So we didn't want to violate the flows that we're restricted to. So we had our public works, our wastewater treatment plant workers, and our parks department huddle and come up with a plan on how to avoid that. We did have one exceedance, but I can tell you because of the amounts of water that we were dealing with at that time, we could have had a number of them. It took us 12 days to get it back to normal. But I really commend these workers for working hand in hand, arm in arm, around the clock to make sure that our services were not affected. Another area that we're very proud of, and I know a number of our partners are sitting out in this audience, is the Emergency Management Systems Joint Powers Agreement, the EMS-JPA. This is monumental in terms of the patient, our number one priority, receiving care in the most efficient and effective manner. We have now a singular training platform, a set of medical protocols, one's physician oversight, and purchasing processes that will save us money. We have a system-wide approach now that now the closest unit responds when available. And this is now a system without boundaries. This will reduce response times and get those services to our citizens at the quickest time. We've also seen expanded citizen services at City Hall. Last year I talked about our passport services. Well, we have a year under our belt, and last year we helped with over 2,200 passports to our citizens. This year, Ada County West, we were a property tax payment location, Ada County came to us and asked us if we would help them out, and it was amazing. In 15 days, nearly 500 people used our counter to pay their property taxes. And I would like to thank Vicki McIntyre and our finance department and our city clerk for coming up with this really nice thing, and you'll see it again in June. Number 3, places to go. This is a favorite, and certainly we are not at a shortage of places to go in our community. Partnerships have played a key role in building a park system. When I got involved with the city in the mid-90s, Mayor Corey asked me to get involved. We had 1 park. Today we have 20. This tremendous progress has been through partnerships, leveraging our tax dollars. For example, in Settlers Park, for every dollar we spend, more than $2 have been matched through growth fees and partnerships. Currently, we are working with the Meridian, the Idaho, and the U.S. Tennis Association on the most recent phase in this very park. Partnerships are huge. Another great partner in our Parks and Recreation has been the school district. They have been awesome in offering their indoor spaces to our adult sports leagues. We have far exceeded what they can provide, however, as their facilities are now seeing more and more use for school and community purposes as well. Just this last year, we had over 450 sports teams, 4,600 participants that have enjoyed these indoor spaces. This community has been asking for indoor facilities for more than 2 decades that I have been involved. We are looking at 2 partnerships, each with a unique set of reasons that meet those collective needs. Both provide safe places for kids and for teens. The first one I'll focus on are the Boys and Girls Club, a safe place for kids. Now, folks, you can see these statistics up on the screen. They serve a critical need for some of our most vulnerable kids. And it's pretty exciting, some of the things that are going on in that area at Meridian Elementary with their community garden and their accessible playground. And now with the Medical Residency of Idaho building a medical clinic in partnership with the school district, there's some great partnerships going on there. Well, we want to partner with the Boys and Girls Club to help them meet the space needs, because no child should be turned away, especially some of the children that they serve. They are looking at a gymnasium facility and a capital campaign. Their capital campaign is a $3.2 million or $3.5 million campaign. Of that, $2.5 million is in Meridian. And the city wants to step up and be a partner to that drive and see that gymnasium happen. It will help our needs as well. The second partnership is with the YMCA. This is indoor recreation, and it's something that our families have been asking for. Now, the YMCA, they did an extensive survey with an interview process as a part of that. And the results were not surprising. They showed the same thing that we have been hearing for the last 2 decades. We have unmet needs around healthy living, wellness, sports, and aquatics. The highest number of those that said that those are unmet needs are certainly from our residents with youth and teens at home. Meridian has been very reliant on Boise and Nampa facilities, and I think it's time that we step up and we be a part of bringing those facilities to this community. So we also plan to be a committed partner with the YMCA on recreation space and aquatics by an agency that brings wellness and healthy living changes And that's something we need in our community. Can we raise the lights and ask any of the representatives for the YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club if you could please stand? You truly are an example of partnerships. Then there is our downtown. We have seen great partnering with our downtown partners. That collaboration between the key partners of the city, the Meridian Development Corporation, the Chamber, and the property owners and businesses have been phenomenal. Last year's goals were to enhance the signage in downtown, to create areas for outdoor dining, and to see some more events. So I can say that we have made great progress. We've seen wayfinding signage that you can find your way to these distinct districts in our downtown, and you can find where parking is. This kiosk will list where are the businesses in our downtown, so you can find them with ease. These are needed improvements that we've been asking for a long time. The Parklet demonstration was intended to bring dining out onto the sidewalks, where you could create that outdoor experience, that energy. Well, the weather didn't really cooperate, so we really didn't have a true idea of what that demonstration is. So we hope to do this again this coming year. And I appreciate ACHD's collaboration in that. We brought new events with Trunk or Treat that served over 2,000 kids. And Christmas in Meridian was awesome for a first-year event. We did learn some lessons. Stay tuned for next year. But one of those areas I really want to focus on is our History Walk. This was a collaboration between the city, our Historical Preservation Commission, and the MDC. You'll be able to walk through our community and learn about our roots. You'll learn about the history of a piece of property or an older building. And you can click on the QR code and you can hear from residents, longtime residents of Meridian, talk about memories they have of old-time Meridian. This is very exciting. We also are thrilled with some of the brewing of the Meridian Chamber, who is working with stakeholders about the possibility of having a shuttle from hotels to area restaurants and entertainment between downtown, the village, and possibly other locations. They're working to improve the connectivity, and this year we really want to bring more people into our downtown. Another downtown exciting thing you'll be seeing this year is public art. So stay tuned. There is an opportunity, though, that I challenged everyone last year, and this is the McFadden property. That is a sad-looking building that needs some tender, loving care, and we were looking for a champion, but we didn't quite find them yet. Well, now we have an expanded opportunity with almost the entire block. And just look at what we could do on that block with the right partners. You can only imagine. Number 4, jobs. The energy continues to be in Meridian. Our commercial investment had a large showing at the Idaho Business Review Top Projects Awards. I say we swept the awards ceremony that night with the Village, Sensi's office complex, and the Meridian Split Corridor. These 3 projects were valued at $200 million in 2013, with a total investment expected of $350 million. The Village at Meridian has caused a great deal of excitement. It's not only the talk of the town, the talk of the valley, the talk of the state. It's received national attention. Most of the talk, though, has not been about their awesome investment and the many jobs they created, in which they employ between 400 and 600 construction jobs daily for over a year. Nor was it about their corporate philanthropy. They're giving back to the community and supporting the arts, which has been phenomenal. The talk has been all about the magic. Just watch.
What a life, I'm in love.
If you look around the project, you'll see incredible attention to detail in the fixtures and the architecture and the materials we've selected. It's the very best you can buy.
When they come out and they see the beautiful trees and the quality of the paving and the buildings, I think they really get a sense for that somebody really cared about the project when they're putting it together.
I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow.
Great thing for the community here, and the development has turned out perfectly. Lots of details all came together.
This is the life. Hey now.
Only been open 2 days. We've been here twice. We were here last night. We're here today, so we're loving it.
Pure excitement. Everybody has been hearing about this for such a long time, and now they get to come and see it and touch it.
This gives us a place where families can come and experience an amazing atmosphere, shop, and just create those family experiences.
It's been a real pleasure to be tied to the CenterCal name. Their commitment to excellence and their involvement in the community as a brotherhood or a relationship is never stronger than every project they do. They're just, I think they've hit their stride and they understand where to end up in these communities.
They exceeded all expectations.
Today is the beginning. It's just going to be a thriving center of the town of Meridian.
The best is yet to come.
Now that is something to cheer about. I mean, that is awesome. And in talking to Fred Bruning out in our audience earlier, there are more exciting announcements to talk about in the weeks and months ahead. They've added to our numbers, certainly. Our numbers of jobs grew by over 1,400 over this last year. Of those, what is exciting is we netted over 900 in healthcare, administrative, professional, and scientific. We netted 250 in our retail and food. The city's unemployment is low at 5%, well below the national average of 6.7%. Community investment totaled more than $400 million in 2013, with over 33% of that in commercial projects. These are a number of the businesses that have opened their doors. Now, this is not an exclusive or an inclusive list, but it just shows you some of the energy that we have had over this last year in celebrating ribbon cuttings with our partners, the Chamber of Commerce, out there with their large scissors and their enthusiasm with their ambassadors. It's truly been a great year with a lot of new things coming down the pike right now. A couple of those, the Cincy building was exciting, opening up their six-story office complex with more news to come. We also saw St. Luke's open up their Meridian Outpatient Surgery Center and Touchmark at Meadow Lake with their expansions. We've also seen expanding Kendall Ford in Camping World. Those are under construction. United Heritage is also building the second building, which is in progress. But let me focus on two upstarts. Bounce Board, they're part of the RETTech industry. They specialize in the development and the worldwide distribution of trampoline air awareness training boards. Now that's a mouthful, but these are for world-class athletes or any athlete who wants to improve their skills. They started out at Boise State University's Tech Center, and that was in 2010, and they saw their sales double in 2012. Forward movement training is a focus on law enforcement and military ultimate tactical training. They also work with citizens in firearm safety and how to react in case of an emergency and gain self-defense skills. They will bring visitors into the area, which is good for Meridian and good for the Valley. It's also compatible with an industry cluster that is naturally evolving along with the project soon to be under construction that is unprecedented in the city. Now you know our slogan, designed for living, built for business. Okay, I turned it around. I wanted to really, truly focus on what we're doing to build our businesses through identifying and planning for industry clusters. We're all familiar with the core, which sees continued success and is setting a new vision for adding value to the businesses that are members. We have identified 2 other clusters that have a natural fit here in Meridian. One centered around the training and supplying of our first responders, and the other building on our region's core competencies in agriculture and technology. Let me first talk about the public safety district that Forward Training Movement is part of, but here's a list of some of those potential partners that you'll see that are here in Meridian or on their way here. We also can talk about our safety center. It's located next door to the Idaho State Police Headquarters Post and ISU's Emergency Management and Fire Services campus. It will be the first shared-use public safety training center in Idaho and the Pacific Northwest. It's for our first responders, and this is the unprecedented part of it. Our fire, our police, our public works departments are all working together and will have shared training in this facility. Now, this facility will have classrooms, a training mat, simulation, and a canine training area. What's exciting, too, is a scenario village, which we will be partnering with Post and ISP and many of our businesses to create a scenario village where we can all come and train together as a region. This will begin here soon, and the completion date is targeted for June or July of 2015. I just want to spend a moment on the Fields District as well. Phase 1 was completed, and what Phase 1 did was it took a white paper that we wrote a number of years ago, and it started talking to the region leaders and stakeholders and said, does this approach make sense? And what is it? They brought this information back to our city council for a go or a no-go recommendation. They brought a recommendation to move forward. City council agreed with them. Now this will support our agricultural and bioscience and research and innovation areas. This next step is creating the vision, establishing what are appropriate land uses, identifying partners, and putting together an implementation plan with the implementation steps to it. Now, as we're talking about workforce or employers, we know that workforce is very important. So I do want to talk about an upcoming election. For business attraction and retention, I can't tell you how important an educated workforce is. And I will ask you to educate yourself, as voters will be asked on March 11th if they will approve the Joint School District No. 2 supplemental levy. Our school district is over 380 square miles large. It covers Meridian, Boise, Star, Eagle, parts of Canyon County and Ada County. I will be supporting our schools, our teachers that inspire our kids, and importantly, our kids by personally voting yes on this levy. Our last area is transportation. Transportation has taken great strides over the last several years, working with our partners. The 10-mile interchange was a transformative change for West Meridian. We're just about to see the beginning of what those positive outcomes will do for our community as well in jobs. 2013 also saw the completion of 2 major transportation projects. We saw other system improvements that made a positive difference about your ability to get around our town. Has anyone noticed the blinking yellow lights in the turn centers? Aren't those awesome? I love those. Gets me to work faster. More exciting news is also coming up. ACHD will be evaluating and recalibrating 42 intersections and retiming our traffic lights. These projects should be completed in March. We saw the improvement of Franklin Road, a widening, and we brought in our water and sewer infrastructure. So we are ready for this area to expand. Our split corridor, Phase 2, was a major improvement. This was very exciting the day that we saw this $9.5 million project open up, 33 days ahead of schedule. That was awesome. We not only had an expanded roadway that allows our drivers to go through and get to our downtown, we saw improvement in our water and sewer and the reliability of the service that we provide in that area by laying down new water and sewer lines. We saw lighting, safety lighting, sidewalks, and let me spend a moment on the cash mobs. What a great partnership between the city, the chamber, and our MDC and our downtown businesses. This was essential to these businesses, seeing our community support during this time. It was really hard on them, and you coming together and standing up and being there to support them was greatly appreciated. But I'll ask you to continue to support them because they really do need to make up for some lost time. Now, the new and exciting news, and it's not new, we've been planning for the Meridian Road interchange expansion of this is amazing as well. And you probably have seen some work already start in this area. They're moving utility lines, they're widening 2 bridges that serve the 10-Mile Creek. And we'll have a contractor on board next month with construction to begin this spring. Construction will be completed by late 2015. The design is a single-point urban interchange design similar to what we see out at 10-Mile Interchange. It's called a SPUI. And this project also includes the rehab of 2 outside lanes of I-84 between Meridian Road and 5 Mile. They've assured us that they will not be closing roads or lanes, that the lanes will be open during construction and in both directions. If you want updates, you can go on to ITD's website and say, request Meridian Interchange updates, and you can get those. And I would encourage you to do that. It will keep you well informed. The last area in transportation is really connecting and and making a more robust mobility plan that's not just about our roads. Our pathways have seen a number of improvements, and we received an easement this last year, so we should be completing a major segment in our 5 Mile Creek path, and that will start next month and be done this summer. We've been working with Nampa, CUNA, and Boise, exploring ways to connect. We've had pathway signage, and we'll be adding mile markers. The Railway Trail is still on my list of expectations for this community. We got a grant last year from the Highway Administration to study the arterial road crossings. That is here to begin this month and will end in July. Figuring out how to safely cross the arterials is going to be key to moving forward. As we talk about connecting, we have been thrilled to connect with an energetic group of young leaders, and they've taken charge. Just watch.
Hi everyone, we're the Meridian Mayor's Youth Advisory Council.
We are a group of high school students who care about Meridian and want to be involved in our city.
And this year, MIAC is bigger than ever before.
We do a lot in our Meridian.
We volunteer.
We organized the first annual Trunk or Treat Halloween event that had over 2,000 attendees, and we plan to do it again next year.
In the fall, we helped 3 homeowners rake up all the leaves in their yard.
We also care about our community.
That's why we got more than 1,000 students to sign a pledge to say they won't text while driving.
We have conducted road safety assessments to see what improvements our roads need and how our drivers can be safer behind the wheel.
And we also held the Treasure Valley Youth Safety Summit, where we helped over 250 students learn how to make better choices.
As the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, we also advocate for change.
This year, we met with state lawmakers to talk about issues that are really important to us, like seatbelt safety and requiring physical education for our schools.
We won a $1,000 grant from the American Lung Association to help raise awareness about the dangers of smoking.
And we hosted a city council candidate forum so voters could be informed when they went to the polls to pick Meridian's next set of leaders. But the coolest thing we did this year was when Governor Butch Otter and the First Lady recognized us with the Governor's Brightest Star Award for all our hard work.
If you want to learn more about MIAC and what we do, go to meridiancity.org/MYAC.
These are awesome kids. Will you guys stand up? These students are not just creating a big difference in our community, they're creating their own legacy. They energize and inspire me, and I get so much from working together. We have 100 members and 70 very active ones, so kudos to King Quarter, who also has learned how to herd cats. I am also inspired by and celebrate both the generosity and gift from Eugene Kleiner in memory of his father. Last year, the city passed a resolution dedicating the second Saturday of June to honor this $25 million gift and the extraordinary example of selfless philanthropy and giving. Proceeds from this state of the city will not just fund youth scholarships, but it also is going to fund the Meridian Symphony to play at this annual celebration in this beautiful park. We have been working with the Kleiner Trust and Gene for over a decade, creating a vision that so many have enjoyed over this last year. Julius Kleiner has... That means Eldon Gray and Maya Cooter. Yeah, you have to come forward. I guess Eldon's the only one here. Here. This is one. It's always great to get the foot up on this man, who, by the way, happens to be a coattail cousin or something like that. But Eldon Gray has been a huge champion of this park. The Kleiner Trust has been placed in this man's hands. The construction of the park and all of the herding of cats in his own realm. And it's certainly my honor. And unfortunately, Eugene and his son, Mike, couldn't be here with us. We tried to get Eldon to help us bring him here, but I did tell Eldon that he was getting the award too. So thank you so much, Eldon. This is for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
These were men of value that we recognized, and it is unfortunate that not all four could, but very fitting that I was able to give this to Eldon. When I think of men of value, it comes to mind a quote from Albert Einstein. Try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. A successful man takes out of life more than he puts in. A man of value will give more than he receives. That truly reflects these gentlemen. Now we have an amazing community. We have truly been building a great Meridian together. What I really enjoy about Meridian is that we want to keep our small town feel no matter how much we grow. That we will stand up and support businesses like Big Daddy's Barbecue when someone ran into the front of his business, or with Friday's Cash Mob, helping 77-year-old Steve DeMaria, the owner of Taste of Chicago food stand outside of Rite Aid, get back on his feet. We are a community that rallies around our youth by supporting young leaders like MIAC, who want to make a positive impact on their environment and our community. Like the Meridian Middle School students you probably met coming in that are headed to Washington, D.C. to represent Meridian in this valley, in this state, at the Future City National Competition, Building Sustainable Cities for the Future. Remember the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA in your future giving. Watch for these capital campaigns and step up and be a part of them. The youth and the families that these organizations serve are essential to a vibrant community. We need to work together in building our youth and our families. And it's because of people like you working together hand in hand towards our vision of being a premier city to live, work, and raise a family. We can taste it, and we want more. We have a Meridian that has caught a great deal of attention. We have seen tremendous investment by people who believe in our vision. People are proud to call Meridian home as their business and as their resident. You have built Meridian. We are Meridian. And I am honored and blessed to serve you as your mayor. Thank you. Go have a taste of Meridian now and enjoy the restaurants that are right next door waiting for you. Yay! It did go good.